You thought you were starting fresh. Think again. You land in a new country, hopeful and ready to begin a new chapter, only to be hit with a deportation notice. More and more Americans are learning the hard truth. A U.S. passport is no longer a guaranteed entry pass. Nations that once welcomed Americans with open arms are now closing their borders. Why? A surge in political tensions, tougher immigration regulations, and growing anti-American sentiment are changing the global landscape. In some places, Americans are being singled out, and the reasons are more alarming than you might imagine. From South America to Southeast Asia, no region is immune. Here are 10 countries that are swiftly, and sometimes brutally, showing Americans the exit door. Number 10. El Salvador. No room for error. It might seem like smaller nations would embrace American tourists and retirees, but El Salvador is taking a surprisingly tough stance. In recent years, Americans who lack the right paperwork, or who overstay their visas, have been quickly deported. Even tiny documentation errors have led to forced removals. While El Salvador is famous for its stunning beaches and affordable lifestyle, its immigration enforcement has intensified to unprecedented levels. Authorities are under increasing pressure to apply the law strictly to all foreigners, not just locals. Think you can blend in quietly along the coast? Think again. Immigration raids in El Salvador are swift, unforgiving, and leave no space for negotiation. U.S. citizens are now being sent home in growing numbers. If you still believe this is a safe paradise, you'd better double-check your visa before someone else does it for you. Number 9. Haiti, paradise lost. If you're picturing a peaceful escape with palm trees and endless coastline, Haiti might not be the haven you expect. Once considered a haven for adventurers and volunteers, the country has stepped up deportations of Americans in recent years. Shockingly, even U.S. citizens involved in humanitarian efforts have been swept up in the crackdown. Since 2023, the U.S. government has warned travelers of Haiti's instability. But here's the twist. Haitian authorities are also tightening internal enforcement. Heightened border controls, overburdened infrastructure, and political turbulence have made it risky to overstay, or even appear out of place. Americans who used to move freely are now met with roadblocks, intense interrogation, and quick deportation orders. Helping others doesn't guarantee protection. In today's Haiti, no one is exempt. Pause and subscribe for more shocking truths. Before we go any further, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. It's the best way to support this channel and ensure you stay updated with jaw-dropping stories like this. Trust us, what's coming next is even more intense. Number 8. Venezuela, from opportunity to expulsion. Venezuela, once a land of possibility for American entrepreneurs and aid workers, has become one of the most hostile environments for foreigners. You might assume that a country facing economic devastation would welcome any form of outside assistance. But reality says otherwise. Venezuela has quietly enacted stricter immigration policies, deporting hundreds of Americans, often with no prior notice. Even those delivering humanitarian aid or working with charities have been detained, interrogated, and sent back to the U.S. The environment is unstable and unpredictable. One day you're building a school, the next you're flagged as suspicious, with no clear reason given. Venezuela's fragile government is increasingly wary of foreign influence, and 2024 saw deportation rates surge by over 30%, according to human rights watchdogs. Think your U.S. passport shields you? Think again. Many deportees had committed no crimes, they were simply in the wrong place at the wrong time. The crackdown is so aggressive that even casual tourism is now considered a gamble. Travelers have been detained for days before being expelled. With a regime that's turning inward and clamping down harder than ever, Venezuela is no longer a place for carefree travel or good intentions. Still dreaming of an easy trip south? You may want to rethink that plan. One small misstep, and your return flight may not be voluntary. Number 7. India, a shifting welcome. When you think of India, you likely imagine a colorful, welcoming country filled with lively festivals and global hospitality. But beneath that vibrant surface, a quiet transformation is taking place, and Americans are starting to feel it. In recent years, India has dramatically increased its deportations of U.S. citizens. And it's not just major violations that are triggering action. Even small visa oversights, minor overstays, or simple clerical mistakes have led to people being kicked out. In fact, you'd be surprised to learn that in 2024 alone, hundreds of Americans were deported, many of them unaware they'd even done anything wrong. Immigration authorities are now conducting more intensive background checks, questioning travelers' intentions, and even canceling visas while people are still in the country. Think a simple explanation will clear things up? Think again. Once you're on their radar, things move fast, and negotiations are rare. But it's more than just administrative changes. Rising global tensions and a sharp focus on national security have made Indian officials increasingly wary of foreigners, especially those from the West. Americans involved in journalism, activism, or even freelance tech gigs have reported being deported without warning or clear reason. Even retirees and students aren't exempt. And don't assume luxury travel protects you. Some tourists have found themselves in court for breaking obscure local rules they didn't even know existed. India is proud, self-reliant, and more selective than ever about who it allows to stay, and Americans are learning that the hard way. If you think your accent or passport will open doors in Delhi or Mumbai, you might be shocked by just how quickly the ground has shifted. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. That's the best way to support us as we bring you more raw, eye-opening content. And trust us, you won't want to miss what's coming next. Number 6. Colombia, from digital nomad haven to border crackdowns. When you hear Colombia, you probably picture lush coffee fields, buzzing cities, and warm hospitality. But this South American gem is quickly rewriting the rules, and Americans are suddenly finding themselves on the outside looking in. In just the past 2 years, Colombia has ramped up immigration enforcement, and Americans are among those most affected. According to recent local reports, deportations and visa denials of U.S. citizens have risen by nearly 40% since late 2023. And it's not just serious lawbreakers being targeted. Overstaying a tourist visa by a few days, failing to report a change of residence, or even making a suspicious financial transaction can now be enough to get you removed. Colombia was once a hotspot for remote workers and retirees, but it's quickly becoming less welcoming. While tourism still thrives on the surface, behind the scenes the government is cracking down, eager to safeguard its economy and national security. Random visa checks and unexpected deportations have become more common, especially in popular destinations like Medellin and Cartagena. Think your dream of a relaxed life in Colombia is safe? Think again. Even a minor misstep could mean you're forced to leave, and fast. The country's new stance isn't softening anytime soon, and once you're entangled in its immigration system, escaping the consequences won't be as easy as catching the next flight home. Number 5. Guatemala, the silent sweep. You'd expect smaller countries like Guatemala to welcome American dollars with open arms, but instead, Guatemala is laying down stricter rules, and Americans are increasingly in the crosshairs. Deportations have been rising quietly for years, and 2024 marked a dramatic increase. While some of these cases are tied to visa issues, many more relate to vague, security concerns. What's most alarming? Many deported Americans had no criminal records at all. The offenses? Minor errors, like forgetting to renew a visa, losing paperwork, or staying slightly too long. But under pressure to reduce foreign influence and stabilize the local economy, Guatemala's immigration officers aren't taking chances. Even tourists are being swept up. In hotspots like Antigua and Lake Atitlan, random immigration raids have led to surprise detentions and expulsions. Being American used to come with certain privileges. Today, it might actually make you a target. Just visiting? You're not automatically safe. Even Americans running charities or working remotely have reported being questioned or removed without prior warning. Guatemala has made its new stance clear: overstay your visa, fail to register, or forget a document, and you're at serious risk. Thinking that quiet mountain town or cultural street fare is your permanent escape? You might want to think twice. The days of relying on your U.S. citizenship as a safety net are fading fast, and in Guatemala, that net has already vanished. Before we move on, take a second to subscribe and hit the notification bell. These stories aren't going anywhere, and what's coming next will surprise you even more. If Guatemala seemed harsh, just wait until you hear about Honduras. Once a hidden gem for expats, now a country rapidly showing Americans the door. Number 4. Honduras. Honduras, once a dream for opportunity seekers hoping to find untouched corners of the world with a slower pace and lower cost of living, is now showing a much tougher side. Beneath the tropical charm, the country is taking a decisive stand, and Americans are paying the price. It may surprise you to learn that over the past 2 years, deportations of U.S. citizens have surged by more than 25%, according to official government data. You'd be shocked at how little it takes to trigger expulsion. Minor visa overstays, failure to register temporary residency, and even small discrepancies in work permits have landed Americans in detention centers awaiting deportation flights. Once considered a hidden haven for retirees, investors, and wanderers, Honduras has now shifted to a policy of tight scrutiny and rapid removal. And guess what? Immigration sweeps have even reached tourist hotspots like Roatan and La Ceiba, places once seen as safe from bureaucratic crackdowns. New government initiatives aimed at protecting local jobs and national security have sent a clear message. Even well-intentioned outsiders will face consequences for failing to meet every regulation. Think your American passport guarantees protection? Think again. There have been multiple cases of U.S. citizens deported within 48 hours over minor infractions, often with no chance to appeal. Even remote workers and volunteers have been targeted, sometimes for something as small as a missing stamp in their paperwork. Still picturing a peaceful life tucked away by the Caribbean coast? That dream may be at risk. In today's Honduras, one misstep could mean packing up your plans and leaving under official escort. Number 3. Ghana. For decades, Ghana stood out as one of Africa's most welcoming countries, encouraging Americans to invest, work, and even resettle. But recently, a powerful yet quiet shift has taken place. And now, Americans are feeling it like never before. Deportations of U.S. citizens from Ghana have risen steadily, with reports showing a 20% increase between 2022 and 2024. And the reasons go beyond the usual visa issues. Tighter immigration policies, stronger protections for national employment, and greater scrutiny of foreign workers have created a far less forgiving climate. Americans who overstay visas or work without explicit permissions are now facing swift removal. Even those trying to establish small businesses are running into intense legal barriers that didn't exist just a few years ago. Tourism might still be strong, but beyond the glossy brochures, immigration enforcement is much tougher. Remote workers, retirees, and even volunteers are now being questioned about their purpose, financial stability, and long-term plans. If the answers don't meet government standards, the solution is simple: deportation. Still assuming American citizenship buys you leniency? Think again. U.S. citizens have been removed from Ghana for infractions as small as missing immigration renewal deadlines by just a few days. Popular cities like Accra and Cape Coast may still appear welcoming, but the margin for error has narrowed. What once felt like an open door to opportunity now demands strict compliance with every rule. One minor oversight can now cost you your entire stay. Planning a fresh start under the West African sun? Come fully prepared, or risk being sent home before you even unpack. Before we move on, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Your support helps us bring you critical, unfiltered updates like this. And trust us, the next country takes this trend even further. Number 2. Eritrea. For those chasing raw authenticity and untouched adventure, Eritrea might sound like a dream destination. But behind its breathtaking landscapes and historic cities lies a much harsher reality, especially for Americans. You might be stunned to learn that Eritrea is now one of East Africa's strictest immigration enforcers, with deportations sharply increasing over the last 3 years, according to regional sources. And it's not just tourists overstaying visas who are being expelled. In Eritrea, even minor missteps, paperwork irregularities, unauthorized travel, or any non-compliance with rigid local policies, can trigger immediate deportation. Americans who once came for investment, tourism, or cultural exchange are now getting caught in unexpected legal tangles. The government, known for its tight internal controls, has little tolerance for foreigners who stray from clearly defined boundaries. Failing to register with local authorities, even briefly, can prompt swift action. And when deportation orders are issued, they're often carried out without appeal or lengthy legal procedures. Still think you can talk your way out of a misunderstanding? Think again. Eritrea's no-nonsense stance leaves almost no room for negotiation or second chances. There are documented stories of Americans being detained during routine travel checks, or while doing volunteer work without special permits. Once flagged, deportation follows fast, and escape is rarely an option. Eritrea now stands as a powerful reminder: not every country sees Americans as harmless guests. In places where sovereignty and security are paramount, even good intentions won't spare you from being forced out, sometimes abruptly, and under stressful circumstances you never imagined. Number 1. Cambodia. At first glance, Cambodia appears to be a warm and welcoming paradise, ancient temples, lively cities, and an affordable lifestyle that has attracted Americans for decades. But underneath the surface, a quiet yet firm shift is underway, and more Americans are getting caught in the crosshairs. Since 2022, deportations of U.S. citizens have risen by 30%, fueled by stricter immigration enforcement and increasing concern over national sovereignty. And here's the kicker: it's no longer just serious offenders or long-term violators being targeted. Even minor administrative mistakes, like submitting an incorrect visa renewal or engaging in unauthorized work, can now lead to immediate removal. The Cambodian government has rolled out aggressive efforts to eliminate long-term foreign overstayers, especially in once popular destinations such as Phnom Penh and Sihanoukville. Immigration raids, once uncommon, are now routine. Americans working remotely without the proper permits, running small-scale businesses, or simply overstaying their welcome by a few days are finding themselves suddenly detained and deported, often without much warning. Think your tourist status protects you? Think again. Multiple incidents have surfaced of Americans being expelled simply for volunteering without the correct authorization or for failing to carry proper identification at all times. Cambodia's message is loud and clear: follow every regulation to the letter, or face the consequences. Still imagining a relaxed, sunny life in Cambodia? That vision now requires flawless paperwork and round-the-clock compliance. The old belief that Americans could move freely without concern is disappearing fast, and those who fail to adapt may find themselves forced out before they ever fully settle in. The global shift. As you've seen, the world is changing, and rapidly. American citizens, who once traveled the globe freely and often without worry, are now encountering increased scrutiny, stricter regulations, and accelerated deportation processes in countries across every region. From Central America's sandy shores to Southeast Asia's bustling cities, no destination offers the immunity many once took for granted. The days when a U.S. passport guaranteed easy entry and leniency are quickly vanishing. Today, immigration systems are tougher, enforcement is more aggressive, and the penalties for even minor missteps are coming faster than ever. If you're thinking about living, working, or even vacationing abroad, you need to be more diligent, more informed, and far better prepared than in the past. Final note: if you found this information eye-opening, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. Supporting the channel helps us continue bringing you vital and shocking updates from around the world. And trust us, what we have coming next will surprise you even more. Stay safe, stay aware, and we'll see you in the next one.